Hey, hi YouTube, Mr. User Boss here. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the camera of the Oneplus One. So far I've been pretty blown away by this phone. Almost everything about it is just incredible. So this camera actually promises to be something pretty special. It has 6 different lenses and a 13 megapixel sensor. It also has a dual tone flash similar to the iPhone 5S and a front facing camera which is actually pretty good. So now we're going to take a look at some of the photos I've taken with it. So hopefully you can tell that in adequate lighting it actually produces very crisp, clean photos. There's plenty of detail in there, and you can tell that this is really a high megapixel count sensor. There's clearly more detail than with, say, the HTC One M8. However, if you do choose to shoot in full 13 megapixel quality, you don't actually get the 16:9 ratio which you ideally want. Furthermore, in lower lighting conditions, it's honestly not that great. It does have good flash, but as you can see, there's actually a lot of blurring if you don't use that. And, the edges are really undefined. Outdoor shots come out pretty clean, however, it seems to be lacking a lot of color. And also, there's actually a lot of overexposure going on depending on which object you focus on, which means you get this sort of soft focus effect, which you don't really want. So it's a similar thing going on with the video, and as you can see we're sort of flitting between overexposure and underexposure depending on what you're focusing on, which means it's very difficult to actually get a good clean picture with high dynamic range. Now this is a problem that's plagued loads of cameras and it doesn't go here, so unfortunately that is still going to be an issue. The slow motion camera is actually pretty cool, and although you do significantly reduce the image quality, it's more of just a little bonus which I suppose is just put in there to compete with the current flagships of today. So the actual interface has been overhauled from the Google version, and it's actually pretty clean. You can start videos with one click, which means that it's all very easy to get to, and you don't really need to worry too much about getting it into the right mode before shooting. There's actually quite a few different options, things like quality, which is actually quite a useful one because people who don't have SD cards and that kind of thing are going to want to lower it because you're really not going to be able to tell the difference between, say, 190 very easily. We also have 4K Ultra HD video recording, which sounds really impressive, but honestly is a bit of waste of time because it firstly lowers the frame rate, and it also, the sensor is just not quite good enough to take advantage of all those extra pixels. Even high-end cinema cameras are struggling to take advantage of 4K resolutions. Zoom is actually pretty good, and the details still remain pretty intact even when you zoomed in, even though this is digital zoom and not optical. Now, one of the things I really wasn't that impressed with was the macro. The macro on this phone is really nowhere near as good as phones like the S5 and the HTC One M8. So this means that, it doesn't focus very well on objects that are close, and this is a major omission considering macro photography is becoming more and more popular. One other thing to note, which is quite weird, is that when you scroll on photos they become noticeably reduced in quality. Now this happens on a lot of phones to, and keep everything running smoothly, but it's very noticeable on this one, and it does kind of detract from the overall polish. So there are actually a lot of shooting modes available. It's actually very, very expansive in terms of that, a lot better than Google's stock app. So to sum up, the Oneplus One's camera competes very well with similarly priced handsets. However, it's probably one of the few features of it that doesn't quite live up to its 2014 flagship phone killer. But it's by no means bad, but it's just a little bit behind the competition. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more.